Welcome to another episode of Leadership Synergized, where we work to bring you individuals' experiences in building, developing their leadership toolbox, including lessons learned and focused on paying it forward. Today, we're joined once again by my good friend, Scott Orr. Scott recorded an episode with us last week that hopefully you've had a chance to enjoy. And we're going to pick up where we left off from that episode, talking about Scott's experiences with leadership, lessons learned, and opportunities that he has to provide in a paying it forward manner to assist you as you work forward in your leadership career. Scott, thank you again for being with us, my friend. It's greatly appreciated.
Well, again, it's my pleasure. And I look forward to the few minutes we'll spend together. And as I always hope and wish that I add some value.
You most certainly are, and you have, and you will continue to add value. Scott, where we left off with last week's episode, we were talking about the importance of leaders and individuals being comfortable with themselves, knowing who they are, that self-awareness piece, which includes bringing value to self and not being afraid to step outside a comfort zone. I know you've talked to me many times through our interactions over the past 2.5, 3 years that we've known one another about people who have influenced you and helped bring value to you. Why don't you, just as you think back, share with our listeners some of those individuals who've been a key part of your life and maybe the value they've helped you to gain throughout your career and your life?
Yeah, as I look back over my career, there are some people that made it significant in my life because they recognized me, they spent time, they cared. I think you think about John Maxwell's connection comments is first and foremost, he said that people want to know, do you care? And the second area is, can they trust you? And lastly, can those individuals just feel very comfortable with them where they can open up and show their vulnerability? My first mentor in the financial services industry that I never forget is an individual that really showed all of that. He was a top leader in his field, but he spent the time with me. He also showed that I offered value because he would always ask questions of me and my opinion, always asking my opinion. And here I was, a rookie in that field. But over time, we both grew, and we learned from one another. I think I learned more than he did. He really made me feel that he was learning a lot from me. And that really helped me become a mentor for others and be able to help them grow. Because that little extra time, that extra phone call, that extra touch, I think makes a world of difference in others' lives. And that was a first mentor. And really, if I look at across the commonality of the several mentors I had, that was very a common thread, that they'd really made one feel important, feel valued, showed the care, and you could trust. And I think that was the common theme that I hope that I've been able to impart over my career.
You hit upon something very pertinent there, Scott, and I think you and I both, again, being certified John Maxwell coaches, trainers, speakers, mentors, etc. When you watch a John Maxwell, for example, training, speaking, presenting, the first word that comes out from Dr. Maxwell breeds trust. It breeds connection. It's a conversational aspect. And I can certainly recall some of the most uncomfortable roles that I've had have been with individuals who work just the opposite from the standpoint of they didn't delegate work, they didn't empower to build and grow individuals. And one of the things I learned, I don't know if it was an easy way, maybe a hard way, someplace in between, early on in my leadership career in the mid-1980s, early 1990s, was that the leader's number one job is taking care of his people or her people, growing staff, providing opportunities for staff members to grow and develop. And it sounds like you've had mentors in that very same vein. And those are the type that are really enjoyable to work with or work for.
Very true, Kevin. It all comes down to really knowing that someone cares about you, showing that extra effort, showing that you can help them. I look at help in many different ways. Some people take or sense by you saying, "Can I help you?" So I like to take it a little bit down a notch and say, "Can I assist you?" Because you're driving the boat here. And that's dealing with financial advisors in the industry is, hey, if I could help you, I'd probably be a financial advisor right now, but I can assist you is by taking down some roadblocks. And so I use that word and I think about that. And most importantly, can I trust you? I think that is the common theme, as I mentioned earlier, of the mentors that I've had throughout my career, is they cared about me, they could help me or assist. They could help me, but they might be able to assist others. And most of all, they could be trusted. And it wasn't about them, it was about me. And I think that was the big difference.
It's obvious they certainly made a strong impression, something that I'm sure has helped bring Scott Orr to where he is today in life, to pay that similar experience forward. Scott, in the last episode, you talked a little bit about that self-talk aspect and how if we're not careful, I think you alluded to how if we're not careful, that self-talk can become self-defeating, which holds self back. One of the aspects that when we look at the still leadership model and you look at the S, it really goes to, before we can bring the highest level of value to others, we've got to serve ourselves, not in a selfish way, but in a servant heart way, by bringing value to self. What's Scott Orr doing now to bring and raise that value in Scott so he's as prepared as possible to increase the value he can provide others as he goes forward to serve?
I think the time I've spent going on the last 3 years in the John Maxwell program, I spent a lot of time reviewing and reading many of John's 85 or 86 books that he's written. And it's always based on how I, as an individual, can add value, how I can connect with people, how I can really build confidence enough to get out of my comfort zone. And I think it's so easy to stay in a comfort zone, especially as a retired person. What do you have to wake up to every day? You need to have something that drives you. And I think the John Maxwell program has helped me over the last 3 years because I spent a lot of time reading, a lot of time watching, a lot of time looking for ways that I might make an impact in others' lives.
I share that with you, Scott. What an impact Dr. Maxwell has had on leaders and continues to have, and his entire team, from Mark Coe, Chris Robinson, Valerie Burton, and Ray Popham, and Kelly Merber, and so many more, have been so impactful for me. And I know you and I have talked a lot about what they've meant for you as well. You know, as you're talking there, I'm thinking the first book as I joined the John Maxwell program, I'd read some of the books, 21 Laws, a 360 Leader, prior in my life. But one of the first books I read was Living a Life of Significance. And the simplicity of the way Dr. Maxwell defines success and significance. Success is when it's pointed on us. Significance, living a life of such, is when we're working to bring value and serving others so they have success, which then multiplies for them living a life of significance for others. So powerful when you think about it. And all of his books just build upon one another in that piece. You're left out waiting for a prequel or sequel in that regard. They connect. And many of the missions or philosophies, I should say, that's a better word, in the new book builds on previous books, regardless of which new book it might be at the moment in time. What's maybe one thing that has jumped out at you when you first got into the Maxwell program and the Maxwell leadership team that really had an impact on Scott Orr?
I think your comments just passed a few minutes ago, talking about significance, talking and the meaning of that. It really helps me want to help leaders think about every morning when they get up is, how can I be significant today? How can I touch one individual or my whole team every day and add 1 point of value each and every day I'm in front of them or with them? And I think that's what John Maxwell, every one of his books has in there, is giving ways for individuals to add value and become significant.
Well said, my friend. I concur. Well said. Scott, you talked about where you're getting your value at. I know you've got a lot of ideas and things that your heart's into that you would like to explore and build upon further to bring value to others. Share some of where Scott sees the value opportunities that he would desire to help bring to others.
I think in today's world, I have 3 fronts I would like to add value. 2 of those fronts are in the financial services industry. First and foremost is I doing some part-time work in recruiting. And it's not about selling firms. It's not about making the extra money. It's about finding individuals that might not be comfortable where they are. Their values are different than the firms that they're working with. Their environment is not a positive environment. And I'm working with a few that are thinking about making transitions to other firms. But my point is, first, you got to evaluate where you are, what you like, what you don't like, and really, what is your practice all about? What is the purpose of your practice? And that's where I like to spend a lot of time there and really help them find that first. If they do find that and then look at other opportunities with other firms, is that a fit? Some people that probably some of my greatest success in recruiting as a manager in the business was some of my biggest success was not bringing them on board to my firm. It was them finding that, hey, it's me making some changes and I'm at the right place right now, and decide to move forward, and their business grows. They help more clients. And that to me was more successful than actually someone making a change. Today, that's how I feel, is if I can help someone that is a little off the center or off their purpose, is help them get back there. Maybe not make a move, but stay there. I think that's more important to me today than having the recruiting success that I once had. The other area that I want to is help leaders in the financial services industry, the local managers, the regional managers, is really help them and be that, whether it be an angel or whether it be a devil on their shoulder that helps them reach out and touch someone each and every day. I enjoyed one part of my job when I ran large offices of over 100 advisors. I would make it a point each and every day that I would call an Australian walkabout, because I go and visit with every financial advisor, every staff member. If it was just to say, hi, how are you doing today? Or it was some way to put a smile on their face, that made the impact. That helped them know that I really cared about them. If each leader in the industry would do that on a regular basis, I think that they would find a lot more success coming from their advisors. And the last area is a thought that came to mind recently, because I'm retired. I'm looking for something to do and something to feel that I'm making a difference. I think about others probably have the same concerns. And one area is in the assisted living area, where individuals are in that assisted living and almost in confinement. What are they doing to expand their minds? What are they doing where they can impart value to others and feel more purposeful in their lives instead of just in that assisted living area? So I'm trying to find ways that I might be able to get into the assisted living areas and start doing book studies, use some of John Maxwell's material that will help them expand themselves and look at ways that they can do something different and feel like the purpose that they can serve for the rest of their lives.
Wow, those are all very exciting opportunities. And Scott, for the individuals that will have the opportunity to learn from you, through you, and live from your heart that you have to serve, they will be so blessed with those opportunities. And for anyone who's listening or watching, Scott's there. Scott's here. He wants to serve. He can make a difference. He's already proven he can make a difference. Reach out. And we'll talk more about how you might be able to do that here in just a moment. But Scott, thank you, my good friend, for that. As we get ready to close out this episode and our 2 episodes together, let me ask, words or word of wisdom for today's leaders, maybe just starting out or early in their leadership toolbox development. What's a piece of advice, whether it's a lessons learned or something that you found worked, or through an observation as you've analyze the generational adjustments and maturation of leadership over your, as you indicated, from 51 years ago when you were in school to now? What's a word of wisdom or words of wisdom you might provide?
I would say the biggest thoughts for me is getting people with the personal contact. That personal conversation, I think, is most important to all of the people that are working with you, and giving them that time that they feel valued, also giving the time that you show that you care about them, and last but not least is show them that they can trust you because you're there, you're with them, you're going through what they're going through. That's what I think people miss today. It's so easy to pick up a phone and text someone, so easy to write an email. The phones aren't ringing much anymore either. What about a personal phone call? And I think about this, who can I call today and make a difference? Someone that might need to hear from me. And so I do go through my contacts on a regular basis and pick up the phone and call and say, just wanted to check on you, see how you're doing. That makes incredible difference in others' lives, just thinking about someone else and acting on it.
Scott, that's pretty powerful. What I heard you say is it's just one little thing at a time, one small step, one simple phone call, one short text, letting people know that you're there for them in that regard. Before we close out, my brother, what can I do for you? How can I serve you? How can we help Scott Orr take that next step?
Well, Kevin, you do a lot with me on a regular basis. You're patient with me. Sometimes you probably shouldn't be patient. Sometimes the boot needs to come out. I guess one is have the opportunity to help other leaders and give them some insight that will help them grow geometrically. And that's really what I want to do most, is be able to help others. I want to make that positive difference. That's my purpose. And I feel more fulfilled in doing that.
My friend, I've told you this so many times, you're way too kind. I am so appreciative of you and the patience you have shown in our conversations, and the intellect that you bring, the expertise, and again, your ability to break things down from the big, if it's not the right time to look at the big picture, into the smaller aspects. It's pretty powerful. And Scott Orr has a talent, he has a gift, and he's got a heart to serve you or anyone that you know that may benefit from Scott. Scott, if there's someone watching or listening and they want to reach out and pick your brain some more, or just talk to you a bit about some of the experiences they've had, how can they reach you?
They can reach me 2 ways easily. One is on LinkedIn, and I'm there on LinkedIn, not as active as I probably should be, but I'm on LinkedIn, also on the John Maxwell site, that you can find me on that by looking me up. And you can also reach out to Kevin, because he can always help you steer to me, because he's more out there and easier to find than I am. With that said, I'm ready to help in any way I possibly can.
And you've got a lot of value to bring, my friend. Scott, from the bottom of my heart, I know this has taken time in your schedule, and I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate you. I appreciate all you stand for. I appreciate how you model and represent John Maxwell and Maxwell leadership and everyone involved with that. I don't know of anyone that does it with a higher quality of character and integrity, and I appreciate you so much. And please know that I'm here. We're always here to serve you, but even more so, Scott's here to serve anyone that would love and have a need just to hear and use his words of wisdom from a body of work that has been built on success, but more so, turned into a life of significance through the value he's offered others. Scott, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate you.
Well, Kevin, I appreciate you, and keep doing what you're doing because I learn a lot.
Thank you so much. And thank you for joining in and tuning in. And if you'd like to reach out, you can certainly go to our YouTube channel under Still Kevin and Leadership Synergized, leave a message, and I'll be in touch. And also have a website out there that you can reach into. And I'm on LinkedIn as well as Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. And again, Scott, myself, we do care. We care deeply about you and your development. And we admire every leader out there and every individual that faces this unknown world of challenges with many new obstacles occurring every day. You can do this. You've got this. Thank you for watching Leadership Synergized. And remember, we don't have to rush. We don't have to hurry. We can be still and move forward to a life of significance. God bless you. I appreciate you.